they said that I should be denounced and I should never be hired again. So that was pretty tricky. So I then hired a lawyer straight away, and I said, you've got to withdraw that statement and all that sort of stuff and pay my costs, which they did. That was good. But still, the thing about these great attacks that people launch on you is once they've launched the attack on you, it sticks. As long as they throw enough shit, some of it will stick. So you sort of walk around. But weirdly, when I walk around the streets, people come up to me and go, thank God for you. But when I walk around on Twitter, people come up to me and go, I hope you and your family die soon.
Yeah.
It's that standard game.
I'm Dave Rubin, and joining me today is a British actor and activist. He's also the founder of the Reclaim Party and hopefully the next mayor of London, Laurence Fox. Welcome to the Rubin Report.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, sir. I am glad to talk to you across the pond. For my American audience that maybe doesn't know who you are, can you give me the quick recap of Laurence Fox before we talk about all the reasons that you got yourself into trouble and how you got into politics and all that?
Well, I was an actor, and actually some of your American friends will know me because I got off the plane at JFK once, and a guy was helping me with my bags. He said, I love you in the Inspector Lewis show. So that was quite sweet. I was an actor for many years. And then, yeah, like you say, I got into trouble. I got cancelled.
All right. So let's talk about your cancellation. You were on a British show called Question Time. It's about a year ago now. And we're going to play a clip in just a second. But can you just sort of set up what Question Time is and how you even got involved in it as an actor? And a little bit of the behind-the-scenes portion.
Sure. Yeah. So Question Time is a sort of topical panel show, political panel show in the UK. It's been around for donkey's years. And it's usually quite very left-leaning, and sort of very establishment. But by some accident, they invited a slightly more centrist panel on. And I was promoting, because I'm a musician as well, so I was promoting an album. And someone said to me, do you want to go on Question Time? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Because it's a sort of family tradition in the UK. People just shout at the TV and go, it's rubbish. No, you're wrong. And I thought I'll get to do that on live TV. And then, yeah, a woman started asking questions of me, asking what my opinion was about something. And I said what my opinion was. She disagreed and said I wasn't allowed an opinion because I was white. Yeah. So I was like, oh, hang on, that's racist. So I said, don't be racist. And then,
boom.
Yeah.
So we're going to just throw to that 1 30-second clip right now.
Let's be really clear about what this is. Let's call it by its name. It's racism.
We're the most tolerant, lovely country in Europe. Let's celebrate our goodness.
What worries me about your comment is you are a white privileged male who has no experience in it.
I mean,
I can't help what I am. I was born like this. It's an immutable characteristic. So to call me a white privileged male is to be racist. You're being racist.
You cannot dismiss.
Okay.
So, boy, you claimed that you're entitled to opinion, even though you're white. How radical of you.
It's awful, isn't it? I mean, we should have learned by now that you're not allowed an opinion, immutable characteristics ahead of everything else. But it was weird. I didn't know it was such an enormous landmine in the UK. So it was crazy. The next day I got a bit of support and then it just went mad. Twitter went for me.
Yeah, so can you talk about that experience? Because, obviously we're in the midst of this just insane cancel culture thing, and on any given day we're taking out Pepe Le Pew or Mr. Potato Head or Aunt Jemima or sometimes real people too. But can you just talk about what it feels like to be the target of that? Because that's when you came on my radar. Suddenly it was basically like, oh, here's a guy telling the truth, and then just to watch the mob descend on you.
I was okay until the Actors Union, the Equity, the Actors Union, you know how non-left wing show business is, right?
Yes. They're very fair. Very modern. They said that I should be denounced and I should never be hired again. So that was pretty tricky. So I then hired a lawyer straight away and I said, you've got to withdraw that statement and all that sort of stuff and pay my costs, which they did. That was good.
But still, the thing about these great attacks that people launch on you is once they've launched the attack on you, it sticks. As long as they throw enough shit, some of it will stick. So you sort of walk around. But weirdly, when I walk around the streets, people come up to me and go, "Thank God for you." But when I walk around on Twitter, people come up to me and go, "I hope you and your family die soon."
Yeah.
Standard game.
Right. So what would you say to the people who would say, "Oh, but this is just some online thing then? It's just the Twitter mob and you should get over just people being mean on Twitter. You don't have to be on Twitter."
Well, Twitter is pointless and a sewer of humanity, which is fine. But also it does affect people in real life. Like the mayor of London, the sitting mayor of London at the moment, Sadiq Khan, he takes sort of virtue signaling identitarianism to a whole new level of division. He called me in the newspaper when they were asked for a comment about me. He called me a far right, extreme far right guy. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty uncool because I've got 2 kids. I can walk around to the shop. If someone who's only ever read that little bit of newspaper, which is the capital city newspaper, and someone decides they want to put a brick or a knife into me, then this whole sort of freedom of speech thing, because I'd actually defend his right to call me an extreme far right, whatever he wants to call me. He's a bit of a wanker, to be fair, so I don't care. But
we'll get to him in just a moment.
You know, when they say that they go freedom of speech and then freedom of consequences of the freedom of speech, I'm like, if my kids get attacked or if I get attacked, who's the consequences on? Are they on you? And also, can you say one simple thing that I've ever said which is even vaguely right-wing?
Right. So, okay. So basically the usual story unfolds. You say a very moderate thing in line with British values, defending free speech, which is really what you were doing on the panel the whole time. Next thing you know, the mayor's calling you far right. There's a gajillion hit pieces. You've got the union going after you, the Twitter mob, like all of that stuff. And then you sort of, I think once you got over it, you kind of embraced it because your life in the last year, I mean, you started a political party, you're running for mayor, you kind of ran right into the fire.
You can't do anything else. There's no option. I'm good friends with Winston Marshall as well. And, I've been watching from Mumford and watching while he's trying to he's trying to bow to the woke mob, and he's actually trying to do the right thing, really. But I'm just sat there going, "Don't do it, buddy.
Yeah,
don't do it."
To be clear, he's the guitarist, right, for Mumford and Sons? Banjo player for Mumford and Sons. He's the one who dared to recommend Andy No's scary book about Antifa.
I'm mates with both of them. Yeah. I'm on the phone to both of them, and Andy's in the UK at the moment because I want Andy to come and work for me for the party. I really would like that. So I'm mates with both of them. It's hilarious, and they love each other. And then this sort of public crap storm going on around. Well, different approaches to deal with a woke mob who you can never say sorry to.
Yeah,
they love it.
Has he heard any of your feelings about this, like that you just can't apologize, that this is going to get you nowhere? I mean, he's not even in the band anymore, right? At least temporarily. We were laughing about it on the phone. It's really difficult. It's like, how do you, he's a truly compassionate, gentle guy. He doesn't want major conflicts in life. I don't mind being punched in the face for stuff I believe in, but I think he's just trying to do the right thing. And actually, I think people that do give in, they need more love because, it's just people hanging around the guillotine, right? Going, more beheadings. That's what they're like. It's gives me the shivers. I like standing up to them. Yeah.
They need it.
Well, they do need it. So, all right. So assuming that you're not far right, I'm willing to go on this adventure with you.
Okay.
Because in your Twitter bio, you describe yourself as a fierce liberal. What does liberal mean to you at this point? Because I know there's a slightly different British version. You know my feelings on classical liberalism. Do you think the word liberal can be saved? Does it even make sense in the sort of modern context anymore?
I think, you do have a slight difficulty with it in America, don't you? I've got an American friend bought me a mug saying liberal tears still warm. But that's leftists to us here.
Right.
My liberalism would now probably, with the Overton window where it is in society, would probably be seen as quite right wing. I want people to get on with their own lives, make their own decisions about what they do, and keep as much of their money as possible and not pay it to an enormous state. So, it's just about being free to make your own decisions in life. That's where my liberalism comes from. And I think we can save it because ultimately it's going to be the left of centre liberals that save the situation, because until they start standing up, there's no point in people like me going, guys, there's a big problem here with freedom of speech. We're going to have a big fight if we're not careful. We need people from the left to come in and go, this isn't cool. And it's starting to happen, isn't it? They're eating their own.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about international issues instead of nonstop yelling, check out our international playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out our full episode playlist. They're all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.